Hey, Wolfmen and Wolfwomen. I'm up in Langlade, Wisconsin on the beautiful Wolf River, about to head off for a short section two, which is actually the Wolfman Triathlon whitewater leg. We thought we'd do a quick video of the run for folks that want to learn a little bit about how to get down the river in the quickest, nicest, driest way, and also just to get a little excited about the race. I'm going to follow my friend, local boy, paddling guru Brian down the river. Brian's been down this river 100 times, hundreds of times, and knows every rock by name, so he knows where the sweet route is. Occasionally, like right coming up soon, we have about 3/4, half a mile of calm water. I'll speed the video up then to save some time, slow it down when we get to the white water. The first part of the river here is 3/4 to half a mile of nice calm water, but still watch Brian's line once we get going. And apologies for some production misses here, like my hand being in frame so often. Next time we do version 2 of this, we'll do a deck mounted camera and clean a lot of this up for you. But enjoy the trip. It's just a beautiful river to run. We're going to stay river left coming out. We're still in the ditch here, the irrigation ditch that feeds into the main body of the Wolf River, which we're entering now. And again, we stay to the left. This is where the deeper water runs, and you're going to have less of a chance of getting stuck. And then Brian's going to just slowly meander a little more centrally here, maybe just a little right of center. Often on the way down, we know on the left-hand side there's a lot of really shallow water. So I edited this down. Here's Brian getting a little frisky, so he has to do a lap around me. Beautiful part of the course. Trying to hold Brian off my whitewater boat here, but he's in a nice fast kayak, and it's a dream. All right, coming up pretty soon, you're going to see across the river, bank to bank, you're going to start seeing a bunch of boulders. So this signifies kind of the beginning of the rapids. It starts off with a little rock garden, and then we crank it up a little bit. So this is the top part of Upper Sherry Rapids. And you'll see Brian starts to move a little bit river left. A lot of folks go to the right here, or even in the middle of the river. There's just not a lot of water there. The chances of getting stuck on gravel is very good. So think about heading towards these bigger boulders that stick out of the water here right on the left. I always think about hugging this left hand corner just a little bit. So as we go down, we're going to always look for the nice open V's, the glassy long tongues of water that run between rocks. You can see how close I am to shore here. You stay to the inside of this corner. Just steer on the corner, and then again we're gonna pull the boats inside here. You can see this deadfall hanging over about where Brian is right now. So we stay nice and inside here. Here's one of those nice long glassy V's. Alright, so soon we're coming into the next little piece of Upper Sherry, and there's a couple of great cues I can give you to get through here. Again, just following the main flow of the water, moves a little right there, now bounces back towards the left-hand shore. staying left here. All right, so look over Brian's helmet right about now. You can see a large boulder on shore. So we're going to hug that boulder a little bit. You can see he's close to it now. And then I'm going to come in next to it. This is, again, I'm going to hopefully miss this deadfall. And we're going to be coming over that little drop, and there's a little chute coming up right here. I'm actually heading right for the bank, it looks like. So I'm taking that at a diagonal. And now we're going to draw our boats inside the corner a little bit to stay more central in the river. There's another pour over coming that you can't see too well from up here. But see how Brian's moving centrally in the river a little bit? And you'll see in a second when I get up to it that right on the left-hand side of this ledge, that's where the real nice chute is. And hopefully I'll hit it. I don't always do that. But it looks like I'm on a pretty good line here. So here's the nice little chute that kind of diagonals. Make sure you keep paddling through all these little drops. It's often when you take your paddle out, you run into the most trouble. All right, so I'm going to let the current move me a little bit to the outside here. There's some more rocks to dodge. There's one more little section coming of Upper Sherry before we get to famous Sherry Rapids. And it's pretty straightforward from here in. Again, the river gets pretty wide, and a lot of folks, when we come up to this next little boogie section, take the short, what appears to be the more direct line, which is a left. But you can see Brian's working to the right-hand shore here. And as we go over this next little riffle, all the faster water is on the right-hand side. Again, this is pretty minor, but there's all sorts of rocks to trip you up, so try to keep your boat straight. When your boat's sideways in the river, that surely exposes you to hitting more stuff and getting tripped up. And again, looking for these nice, long, glassy areas like this one right here between the rocks. You're going to hit some rocks, we all do. I think I've hit a couple already. And as long as the boat's straight and you keep paddling, you can slide over a lot of stuff. All right, so let's pay attention here. We're coming into a 90-degree kind of left-hand corner. So this signifies kind of this little piece before we get into Sherry Rapids. I'll give you some more cues as we get closer. Staying to the outside of this corner. So we're kind of in that right angle 90-degree left-hand turn now. And as soon as I get straightened out here, you're going to see that up ahead there's kind of a wall of green, and that's going to signify a right-hand turn, and that's where we drop into the top of Sherry Rapids. So we're on the little connector here, and we're going to stay river right. Again, there's lots of really shallow spots in here, so river right going through. Look at this nice long V. You can see just a main current where the river's running a little faster. So up ahead of Brian's kayak right now, you can see a little light green that signifies an island. You can go around it to the left, but we're going to stay to the right, which is where all the water runs. And this is another cue that Sherry Rapids is coming. Brian appears to turn his boat sideways, but really he's just making that right-hand 90-degree turn kind of in the river. And we're dropping into, we're leading into Sherry Rapids here. One great point is to notice how close to the right-hand shore we stay around this corner. If you look at the river from a large perspective, you'll see that most of the water runs this way, and right there in the woods, this little house, that's also a cue that Sherry Rapids is coming. So let's watch the pathway through here. We're staying to the right. Look at this, just darn near to the trees. um, on the right hand side. So coming in early around that corner, past the house, staying close to shore on the right hand side. Not that, yeah, there we go. So setting up for the main drop here. And it's not bad, but it is the biggest drop on this reach. Is really important. See how much how close to the right hand side we stay here. You could paddle on the left and you can get through that way. I've done it before. But this is where the moving water is. Real soon, up in front of me where Brian is, you'll see this logs on the stuck on the rocks on the right hand side. Stay close to those. And there's a large boulder in front of me that you can go either side, but it's best to go on the right hand side and split these two boulders. So right now Brian's eyeballing the drop. So he's going to start diagonaling towards the left hand shore, and we'll give you some cues for what to aim for over here. The current really wants to go this way, but you can also go closer to the right shore. But look how close to the left hand shore he's getting. And I'll slow this down in a second. You'll see some bushes growing out of this little rock pile on the left, right to the left of my bow, right there. You've got to get close to those. You'll see in a second that the main chute is right in front of me, and there's a rock on the left and there's a rock on the right that trip a lot of people up. This is dropping into Harry Ferry. Keep paddling through the waves, and we made it through another dry hair run. Try to stay in the river if you can, in the body of the river. There's a big eddy on the left there that'll spin you around, but it can be a nice break. All right, so the next move here, we stay a little left of center, and there's a lot of rocks to kind of just steer between here, looking for that nice, classy chute. And here's another little pour over. Keep paddling. Great. So from here, we're going to diagonal across, hopefully dodging most of these rocks. There's one I'm going to tag. That little dink. We're going to get to the right-hand shore. This is the lower part of Sherry Rapids, which isn't as significant as the main body of Sherry, but a lot of folks get tripped up here, and I sure have as well. There's a lot of lines. The best line is this right-hand shore. We're kind of central now because you see Brian's already moved towards the right. He's pretty close to the rocks on the right-hand side of the river. And again, there's a cue coming up. Right where he is now, there's a little jutting out of rocks there that I always try to keep in my eye as I'm steering through here over these little pour-overs. And here's that rock I was talking about just right at my bow right now. So this is how far river right I come and kind of sneak right along the shore here. Again, people take lots of creative routes down here, but this is kind of where the best water is. All right, real soon we're out of this. I'm going to start moving a little more internal, a little more towards the center of the river, because when we get right down to the bottom, there's lots of little rocks and it gets shallow. So if you can hit, you'll see pretty soon I'll start moving inside. If you can hit the little pour over into the pool down here right there, that's great. All right, so we got one more rapids to go. Up ahead of me, this light green is an island. You can go to the left or the right. The left is very shallow, but in high water it can be a great choice. The reliable way to go is to the right here, around these big boulders. Right past these big boulders here, there's a beautiful spring on the right hand side. Alright, I'm going to pick it up, and again just stay to the right here and kind of watch our path for deep water, because there are some, if you get, for instance, inside to the left here, it gets very shallow. I've been stuck there numerous times. Alright, Brian's about to the top of Lazily Rapids, which is the last named rapid. And you'll see there, it goes way to river left and then enters the channel right here. And this is nice because down towards the exit move to get out of Lazily, it's real nice to be river left. So rather than coming into this on the inside and picking your way down that shoreline, this left-hand side is the smooth route. And again, there's one kind of interesting little move up here to pick up on. Beautiful little part of the river here. Again, on the left-hand side, up where you can see some rocks and a little prominence that sticks out there. And right now, Brian's heading that way, and I'm going to too. So we go left-hand shoreline, river left here, and we get pretty close to river left. And then, watch this little diagonal move, and you'll see why in a second. There's a beautiful little pour over here. That's going to diagonalize back out to the central part of the river. Nice little boulder garden down here. And we've got through the rapids. There's a little rock garden coming and plenty of other rocks to get hung up on, but most of the exciting stuff's behind you. So we'll speed this up. Again, there's lots of shallow water in here. You'll note that from here up to the next rock garden, we pretty much stay to the right-hand shore. In a little bit, we'll really hug left-hand shore. We'll re-hug the left-hand shore. And there's actually a pretty narrow band of water that runs through here that where you can get the paddle in nice and deep. As Brian decided to paddle backwards for a while. So from here on in, if you've got the juice, it's a nice time to cruise a little bit. You can see how close we are to this left-hand side. Up ahead, you'll start seeing, again, just a sea of boulders. Brian's diagonaling now. There's a few routes through this Steed's Rock Garden. This right side is surely one of them. And for the most part, again, you're just dodging rocks on the way down, looking for those nice glassy tongues. This is Steed's Rock Garden. It was named for the George Steed family that had a beautiful resort and whitewater paddling school right at this very spot on river left. The buildings are still there, owned by a camp, and you do have river access if you want to get in here just to see this or play in the water like I did with my family when they were young. All right. Just a few more boulders to navigate, and it's the home stretch. Again, it's like the beginning where you have all that time to hammer. Coming up real soon. We're pretty much past all the rocks, and if you are inclined, you can open it up a little bit. So that's going to happen pretty soon. I think I'll speed the film up And again, apologies for my hand flicking through the frame so many times at speed, but I got to switch sides a lot in this whitewater boat, which I'm not used to, just to try to keep up with Brian in that fast kayak. So this is outside the corner here. We're going to stay river right. You can see, oh, the trees are changing a little bit already. Lots of shallow water to get stuck on in the inside of this corner. So we're going to stay to the outside. And away we go. So the river today's running at about 400 CFS, which is a real nice level for running section 2 in the Wolfman for sure. Higher lower is all great, and this is just you have a frame of reference. This is around 400 CFS. Coming up pretty soon, there's another island right before the bridge, and the direct route is to stay to the right of the island. You can actually see the bridge at some point, and it looks like, hey, we're right there, we're gonna let her fly, but it's pretty shallow. If the water's not at, I don't know, 600 CFS or so, it's pretty tough to get through there, and it for sure is slow because you can't get the paddle in the water, and it's slow water. So you'll see us go to the left of this island, which seems like the long way around, but it surely is where the water runs the deepest. Right off my bow, you see that light green line. That's the island. You can go right there, and it seems quicker, but we're going to go to the left-hand side of this island, but kind of hug the island. Rather than go to the outside of the corner, the deep channel is a third out. Brian just working it out again. And let that kayak go a little bit. There you can see the bridge. All right, well, we're about in and time to get on the mountain bike. Can't wait to see everybody up in the North Woods for the reunion and the union, make new friends and see some old friends. It's going to be a great year. We got a lot of great changes in place and a lot of old memories to rehash. So here's the takeout. There'll be some kids here to help you with your boat. On race day, you just got to drag it up on shore a little bit. So pull into this eddy and had a nice dry quick run. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Langlade for the Wolfman Triathlon real soon.